Good morning, everyone. This is for educational use only. Our group is allowing our instructor, Mr. Roldan Ardinas, to use this as an educational material. So our topic for today is all about gender and sexual online. So first on the list is how does society affects gender and sexuality. So on the slide, sexuality is a natural and healthy part of life. It is everything about being male or female. It is most important aspect of masculine or feminine identification. While on the other hand, gender is a social concept on how men and women should think, feel, and act. It refers to femininity or masculinity of a person's role and behavior as defined by social gender and sexuality are two issues that affects your life as a teenager. So these two concepts have some the greatest impacts of how you view yourself with other people, especially to your opposite sex, where social feelings are normal. So, as a teenager, you will experience a heightened certain to explore your sexuality, and this is just normal. And just keep in mind that sexually encompasses our whole being, and managing sexually related issues should be founded on values, particular self-respect and respect for the others.
Gender has a significant impact on individuals in the world. It can dictate how people dress, behave, and interact with each other. There are many different ways that gender can affect individuals, but some of most common are through expectation of masculinity and femininity. Gender expectation can start as early as childhood. Boys are boys are often expected to be strong and independent, while girls are often expected to be nurturing and care for others. These expectations can lead to different life opportunities and experience for boys and girls. Boys who don't conform to the traditional masculine role may be seen as weak or feminine and may be ridiculed or bullied. Girls who girls who don't conform to the traditional feminine role may be seen as unladylike or aggressive and may also be ridiculed or bullied. Gender expectations can also have a significant impact on individuals' mental health. Boys who don't feel like they can live up to the expectation of masculinity may feel like they are failing and may be more likely to experience depression or anxiety. Girls who don't feel like they can live up to the expectation of femininity may feel like they are not good enough and may be more likely to experience depression or anxiety. Genders can also affect individual physical health. Boys who are thought that they are need to be strong and independent may less likely to seek help for physical injuries or health problems. Girls who are thought to be nurturing and care for others may be more likely to put others' need before their own, which can lead to health problems. Health and gender expectation can have a significant impact on individuals in the world. It can dictate how people dress, behave, and interact with each other. There are many different ways that gender can be affect individuals, but some of the most common, though, through expectation of masculinity and femininity.
So, how does gender affect personality? So, the self uses this internal sense of identity, while others use the social meaning of and cues associated with being medically assigned to an anatomic category. So, let's say a woman will be described as a cis woman because the gender identity profile is calculated across these two perspectives, self and medical self. Importantly, the private internal information to which the self has access is likely not accessible to others unless the self discloses it. For example, I am a man, I am a woman. Nonetheless, in this example, since others already assume that a self's name category membership, for example, she is a woman, based on the social cues that normatively indicate gender category membership in that culture. It appears as though the self might be using information from others, yet it is arguable that the separate sources of information remains separate and either converge or diverge almost incidentally in interpersonal interactions. Now consider another case. Consider an individual whose internal sense of self is a female and who is assigned to the medical category of male at birth based on the presence of a prototypical penile scrotal structure, also known as penis. Under the model being proposed, this individual will continue to have access to the felt sense of self as female even while the other people uses the cultural terms of boy and possibly later man and male through some parts of this person's life course. In this case, it appears as though other people are not influencing this individual's sense of self, and this is likely true. In this situation, one's self-assigned gender identity diverges from other people's perceptions of this individual's gender category. And as described in the previous example, each actor is using a very different source of information. Other people use the medical category designation based on anatomy and the normative social cues that signal gender category membership within that culture, while the self uses another private source that is likely not accessible to other people unless the self discloses it. For example, I am a woman despite what you might think, or a man. This woman would be described as a trans woman because the gender identity profile is calculated across two perspectives, self and medical, with a balance of these examples. It appears that scholars have a conceptual space that features two information sources working in the same location, one source being the individual's felt sense of gender identity and the other source being the social perception of that individual depending on normative social cues. Consequently, any individual's gender identity experience in the world appears to be convergence or divergence of the intrapersonal and interpersonal perceptions. So gender can have an impact on personality to some extent, but it is important to note that personality is a complex trait influenced by many factors including genetics, environment, and life experiences. While gender can be one of these factors, it is not the only or even the most significant one. That being said, societal and cultural norms surrounding gender roles and expectations can shape certain personality traits that are traditionally associated with masculinity or femininity. For example, boys may be encouraged to be assertive and competitive, while girls may be taught to be nurturing and empathetic. These social expectations can influence the development of certain personality traits and behaviors. However, it is important to note that the gender is not a binary concept and that individuals can express their gender in many different ways. Gender identity and expression are highly personal and can vary greatly from person to person. Therefore, it is difficult to make generalizations about how gender affects personality without considering the individual's unique experiences and circumstances. That is all. Thank you.
So what is sexuality? Sexuality is a word we use to talk about we understand our bodies and how we understand our relationship. This understanding includes all aspects of who we are, value and beliefs, bodies, desires, relationships, gender, and our thoughts and feelings about all of these because our sexuality is made up so many different components. Understanding of our sexuality and unique to each person. So, sexuality is a complex and multifaceted aspect of human behavior that encompasses person's sexual orientation, sexual identity, and sexual preferences. It is an integral part of human experience and involves a range of physical, emotional, and social interactions related to sexual attraction, intimacy, and pleasure. So, like sexuality can vary widely between individuals and can be influenced by a range of factors including biology, culture, upbringing, and personal experiences. Some people may identify as heterosexual, homosexual, bisexual, pansexual, asexual, or other sexual orientations, while others may not conform to traditional categories of sexual identity. So, in overall, sexuality is a complex and deeply personal aspects of human experience that involves a wide range of feelings, desires, and behaviors related to sexual attraction and expression.
Personality and temperament are two distinct concepts that are nevertheless closely related. The distinct combination of a person's thoughts, emotions, and behaviors that comprise their overall character is referred to as the personality. It encompasses a wide variety of characteristics such as the ability to maintain emotional equilibrium, openness, extraversion, introversion, agreeableness, and conscientiousness. The term temperament, on the other hand, is used to refer a collection of innate or biologically based personality traits that are present in a person beginning in early childhood and have a significant influence on a manner in which they have behaved and the feelings they experience. A person's activity level, adaptability, sensitivity, and sociability are all examples of traits that are make up their temperament. Temperament is considered to be the cornerstone of personality, despite the fact that personality and temperament are related. To put it another way, a person's temperament lays the foundation of their personality, which is then molded and formed by their experiences in life, their culture, or other aspects of their environment. There are several different types of personality temperament. Number 1, sanguine. People with a sanguine temperament are generally outgoing, social, and cheerful. They enjoy being around other people and are often seen as the life of the party. Number 2, choleric. People with choleric temperament are ambitious, strong-willed, and often seen as leaders. They are goal-oriented and have a tendency to be assertive. And the third is melancholic. People with melancholic temperament are introspective and thoughtful. They are often sensitive and can be prone to moodiness. And the fourth and the last one is phlegmatic. People with a phlegmatic temperament are calm, composed, and even-tempered. They are not easily rough and tend to be good listeners.
Sexuality is a complex and multifaceted aspect of human life that has a significant impact on our individual and collective well-being. It is a fundamental part of human identity and can be expressed in various ways, including social and environmental sexuality. Sexuality refers to the ways in which our sexual desires and behaviors are influenced by the social norms, cultural values, and interpersonal relationships. It is shaped by factors such as gender, race, religion, and socio-economic status, which can influence how we perceive our own sexuality and that of others. Environmental sexuality, on the other hand, refers to the ways in which our sexual desires and behaviors are influenced by the natural environment around us. This can include our physical surroundings, such as natural landscapes and urban environments, as well as our border environmental contexts, such as climate change and environmental degradation. Research has shown that environmental factors can have a significant impact on our social behavior and desire. For example, exposure to natural environments such as forests and beaches has been shown to increase sexual desires and arousal. Conversely, exposure to pollution and environmental toxins has been linked to reduced fertility and sexual dysfunction. Furthermore, climate change and other environmental crises can have profound impacts on our sexual health and well-being. In order to promote healthy and fulfilling sexual lives for all individuals, it is essential that we take into account both social and environmental factors. This means working to challenge social norms and cultural values that perpetuate harmful attitudes towards sexuality, as well as taking action to mitigate the environmental impacts that affects our sexual health and well-being. Ultimately, by recognizing the complex interplay between social and environmental factors in shaping our sexuality, we can work towards creating a world in which all individuals are able to experience their sexuality in ways that are safe, healthy, and fulfilling.
Sexual orientation. Sexual orientation refers to a person pattern of romantic, emotional, and or sexual attraction based on their gender identity of those they are attracted to. Common terms used to describe one sexual orientation can include heterosexual attraction to opposite gender, homosexual attraction to the same gender, and bisexual attraction to multiple gender. Other labels include pansexual attraction regardless of gender, a sexual lack of sexual attraction, and queer non-heterosexual non-cisgender identity or attraction. Sexual orientation can be fluid and is an important aspect of a person's identity and self-expression.
Personality are two distinct concepts that are often confused with each other. While both are important factors in shaping an individual's identity, they are fundamentally different in several ways. Gender refers to the socially constructed roles, behaviors, and attributes that are associated with being male or female in a particular culture or society. Gender is typically seen as binary and is often determined by an individual biological sex. Gender includes expectation for how one should have dress, behave, and interact with others, and can influence an individual's opportunities and experience in life. Gender is also subject to cultural and societal norms, which can change over time and vary across different cultures. Personality, on the other hand, refers to the unique set of traits, behaviors, and characteristics that define an individual identity. Personality is shaped by a combination of genetic, environmental, and cultural factors and is not limited to any specific gender or sex.
Personality traits can include characteristics such as introversion or extroversion, openness, conscientiousness, agreeableness, and neuroticism, among others. Unlike gender, personality is individualistic and can vary widely across different people. One of the key differences between gender and personality is that gender is largely determined by cultural and societal norms, which personality is more innate and individualistic, while an individual gender can have an impact on their personality. Personality is not determined by gender. For example, a woman may be expected to be more nurturing and empathic due to cultural norms associated with femininity, but she may have a personality trait that is less agreeable or compassionate than expected. Gender and personality can also intersect in complex ways that impact individuals' experiences and behaviors. For example, societal expectations about gender can shape how an individual expresses their personality traits. A man who is naturally introverted may feel pressure to act more outgoing and assertive to conform to societal expectations of masculinity. Similarly, a woman who is naturally assertive may feel pressure to be more accommodating and submissive to conform to societal expectation of femininity.